Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So in the last class, we discussed about one of the type of mechanical energy, that is kinetic energy, right? There are two division of mechanical energy. One is kinetic energy, other one is potential energy. Today, inshallah, we will talk about what is potential energy. Okay. Now, we know that whenever we do some work, we lose some energy, and that energy is transferred to the body on which we have done some work, right? So let us say this is the ground, okay, and on the ground there is a body. Now let us say we hold the body and lift it to a certain height, okay. I have lifted it to a certain height. Let us consider the height is h. The mass of the body is m, okay. So as I have lifted it, to lift the body, I had to apply some force on it, correct or not? If I do not apply any force on it, will it be displaced from its place? No.
No, sir.
A force and there is a displacement, right? Force and displacement. So I can say that I have done some
Work.
Very good. Okay, from the definition of work, we know that if there is some force applied on a body and due to the application of that force, some displacement has been caused in the direction of application of force, you can say that you have done some work. So I hold the body, I applied a force on it, and in the direction of the force, application of the force, some displacement has been caused. So I can say that I have done some work. So as I have done some work, definitely I have lost some energy, correct or not?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Not be destroyed. According to the conservation law of momentum, energy can neither be destroyed nor be created. It can only be transformed from one form to another. So when the energy was in my body, it was a certain form of energy. Now, as I have done some work, that energy has been lost from me. So that energy is not destroyed. It has been stored in this body. As I did the work on this body, now the energy has been transferred from my body to this body. Now this body has some energy. We can all agree upon, correct?
Yes, sir.
But can
Yes.
we call it kinetic energy? My question is that.
What is the question, sir, again?
We all agreed that this body contains some energy, but can we call it kinetic energy? Nafisa.
Maybe it contains, if it contains metallic something.
আমি আবারও question করতেছি. We agreed that we did some work, and due to that work done, some energy has been lost. Now that energy has been stored in this body. So this body has some energy in it. My question is, can I call it kinetic energy? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
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 That means I have successfully failed to explain kinetic energy to you.
So it is potential energy, no?
Yes, this is potential energy. ওটা তো মানে টপিক এটা থেকে হয়তো বা বুঝে গেছো, বাট আমার কোশ্চেনটা ছিল আমি কি এই এনার্জিটাকে কাইনেটিক এনার্জি বলতে পারি কিনা? নো, আই ক্যান নট সে কাইনেটিক এনার্জি বিকজ তোমাদের যদি মনে থাকে গতকালকে আমরা শিখছিলাম whenever a body is in motion, that time you can say that the body has kinetic energy. আমি বলছি বডিটা কি এখানে আমি তুলছি মাত্র, বডিটা কি এখানে মোশনে আছে? নো, ইটস নট ইন মোশন, আমি জাস্ট এখানে রেখে দিছি, আমি এখানে ধরে রাখছি। So this body is not in motion, it is static. So if it is static, how can it have kinetic energy?
Oh, sir, that part we forgot. That's the thing.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Keep it up, eh? No, keep it down. Okay. So whenever a body is not in motion, clearly remember it does not have any kinetic energy. A body is static, it is not moving, it is not being displaced from its place, then it does not have any kinetic energy. I took the body and I kept it here. So definitely some energy has been stored in it, but that energy is not kinetic energy. Then what energy it is? It is potential energy. This type of energy is called potential energy. When the body is not in motion, due to the position of the body, this energy is stored, right? When the body was at this position, it didn't have any energy, but as I lifted it up, I took it up to that position, it had some energy now, it gained some energy now, okay? Now that energy is called potential energy. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So now, you know what will happen? When I leave the body from here, what will happen? The body will be staying here, or it will
No, it will fall down.
It
fall.
will fall.
Now, as I left the body started to move. Now the body is in motion. So the body has,
Kinetic energy.
Kinetic energy.
so the body has kinetic energy. Now, from where this kinetic energy is coming?
From the body.
From the potential energy. Okay, as the body is falling down, what is happening? The potential energy that was stored in the body, it is being converted into kinetic energy. And as it will fall down, what will happen? The more and more kinetic energy will be gained, right? The more potential energy will be converted to kinetic energy. So as a result, the velocity of the body will increase. We know from our experience that if we leave a body, at first the velocity is less. As it goes down, the velocity increases. Acceleration is there. Acceleration due to gravity, G. You have already studied. So now as the velocity is increasing, the kinetic energy is also increasing, right? So more and more potential energy is being converted into kinetic energy. And the kinetic energy will be maximum just before touching the ground. Because just before touching the ground, the kinetic energy, the velocity will be maximum. As the velocity will be maximum, kinetic energy will also be maximum. Why? Because yesterday we studied Ek is equal to half mv square. So V, when V is maximum, M is not changing. Whether the body is at the maximum height or here, the mass of the body is same. But what changes? The velocity changes. At the highest position, the velocity was 0. Then when I left it, the velocity started to increase, and just before touching the ground, it will be the maximum, right? So the kinetic energy will be maximum at this point. So at this point, what will happen? All the potential energy that was stored here will be converted into kinetic energy. Okay.
Sir, if I take a pen from a desk and keep in my hand, that is potential energy.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever you displace a body, if you can say that you did some work, definitely you lost some work. And if you lost some work, definitely that lost energy from your body has been stored as potential energy in the body. This is true for spring also. Let us say we have a spring. Okay, এখানে একটা আমরা এরকম পাতের মতো কিছু একটা দিলাম. So this spring, if I push it, try to compress it with my finger, it will be compressed, correct?
Yes.
So let us say I have compressed it and brought it to this position. Okay, so as I have done some work, I have applied some force, some displacement has been caused, I did some work. So as I did some work, I lost some energy. That energy is definitely stored in this one as potential energy. Now you might ask, sir, you said that whenever a body has energy, it is capable of doing some work. এই স্প্রিংটা কি কোনো কাজ করতে পারবে এখন? কারণ আপনি বলছেন, আমি তো এটাই বললাম না যে এটার মধ্যে পোটেনশিয়াল এনার্জি জমা হবে। যে টাইপেরই এনার্জি জমা হোক না কেন, এনার্জি জমা হওয়া মানেই হচ্ছে এটা এখন ইট ইজ কেপেবল অফ ডুইং সাম ওয়ার্ক। কারেক্ট? আমরা এনার্জি ডেফিনিশন থেকে এটাই জানি, দ্য অ্যাবিলিটি অফ ডুইং ওয়ার্ক ইজ এনার্জি। সো ইফ আই এম সেইং দ্যাট দিস স্প্রিং হ্যাজ এনার্জি, দ্যাট মিনস ইট ইজ এবল টু ডু সাম ওয়ার্ক। কারেক্ট? এটাই তো
Yes,
মিন।
sir.
Yes.
বাট হোয়াট ইজ দ্য প্রুফ অফ ইট? তোমরা আমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করতে পারো, স্যার কি প্রুফ যে এই কাজ করতে পারে? প্রুফটা আমি এখনই দেখাচ্ছি। নাও লেট আস সে উই কিপ আ বল হিয়ার। উই কিপ আ বল হিয়ার। আমি কিন্তু এখন স্প্রিংটাকে কম্প্রেস করে ধরে রাখছি, আমি এটাকে এখনো ছাড়িনি। এই অবস্থায় আমি একটা বল এখানে রাখলাম। এখন যদি আমি আমার হাতটা সরাই নিই, তাইলে কি হবে? স্প্রিংটা it will spring back to its original shape, correct or not?
Yes.
Yes.
While doing so, it will apply a force on the ball, and due to the application of the force, the ball will be displaced from its position, correct or not?
Yes.
Yes.
That means this spring has applied some force on the ball and it has caused some displacement. Force applied, displacement. So the spring can say that the spring has done some work. From where he got this energy to do the work? He used the potential energy that he stole from me. Or we can say that I gave to the spring. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
So the process is, whenever we do some work, let us say I lift this marker to a certain height. I did some work, and as I did some work, I have lost some energy. That energy has been stored as potential energy in the body, and when I will leave it, the potential energy will be converted to kinetic energy, and as the body will have kinetic energy, it can move now. Whenever a body has kinetic energy, it has the capability of moving. So it will move when it will fall. Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir. We can see these examples in our daily life, like during writing
Physics
or
is daily life. Physics
Yeah.
is daily life.
Yeah.
এটাই তো physics এর awesomeness. Hey. Okay. আমি এগুলো বলা শুরু করলে স্টুডেন্ট আমাকে পাগল ভাবে, এই কারণে বেশি এক্সপ্রেস করতে পারি না। ওকে যাই হোক, ওকে। এখন এখানে একটা জিনিস আমাকে বলো, let us say we lifted it up to h height, okay? If I lift it to a greater height, then what can I say? Did I do more work or less work?
More work.
More work, because the displacement is higher, so I did more work. So more amount of potential energy will be stored in it.
yes,
Yes. Yes.
The higher you raise the body, the more the potential energy is, correct or not?
Yes.
yes,
As the height from the ground increases, the potential energy increases. In opposite sense, if I say as the height from the ground decreases, the potential energy in the body decreases.
Yes.
yes,
দেখো আমি আবার বলি, as height from the ground increases, potential energy increases. We agreed upon this. Now as the height from the ground decreases, the potential energy also decreases. So now that brings us to a question: if the potential energy is decreasing, where it is going? We know that energy is not, cannot be destroyed. So that also gives us another explanation that how the body is getting the kinetic energy. While the body is falling down, the height from the ground is decreasing, right? You see, the height from the ground is this now. As the body will start to fall, the height from the ground will decrease. So as the height from the ground decreases, potential energy decreases. As the energy is decreasing, definitely this energy is being converted to some other form of energy. What is that form of energy? It is kinetic energy, because we can see the body is moving. So these all explanations are very easy to comprehend, right? Okay. So yesterday we learned, okay, what is kinetic energy, and then we developed an equation to calculate the kinetic energy, correct?
yes, sir.
Today we learned what is potential energy. Now we are going to learn how to calculate the potential energy. Yes, okay, we said that we did some work when we displaced it. So that amount of work is stored as potential energy in it. But what is the amount? I want to know. It is 50 joule, 100 joule, how much it is? So inshallah we will try to develop an equation to calculate that. Okay. So now let us try to calculate it, okay? So again, yesterday, if you remember, we wrote that work done is equal to kinetic energy, because whatever amount of work you will do, that amount of energy will be transferred to the body. Now, when the body is in motion, it is kinetic energy. But today, our energy is potential energy, because the body is not moving. When we lift the body to a certain height, okay, and keep it static there, potential energy is stored in it. So I can say that the amount of potential energy that is stored in the body is equal to the amount of work done by me. Because আমি যতটুকু কাজ করব ততটুকু এনার্জি আমার থেকে চলে যাবে, এবং আমার থেকে যতটুকু এনার্জি যাবে ঠিক ততটুকু এনার্জি বডির মধ্যে স্টোর হবে, কারেক্ট? আমি তাড়াতাড়ি বলতেছি মনে হয় নাকি না? Try to process it in your
Sir,
brain.
sir, EK is equal to work done, our EPO is equal to work done.
Obviously, because both of them are energy. I told you, energy is always equal to the work done. Okay, যখনই তুমি কোনো কাজ করবা, you will lose some energy.
তো ওই এনার্জি গুলো স্টোর হয়ে ওয়ার্ক ডান হবে।
Okay. কি বলছো?
তো ওই এনার্জি গুলো কি স্টোর হয়ে ওয়ার্ক ডান হবে?
Obviously, যখন potential energy তখন সেটা স্টোর হয়, আর যখন কাইনেটিক এনার্জি ওইটাকে ইউজ করে বডিটা মোশনে থাকে। Okay.
Yes, sir.
So always energy is equal to work done. So এখন এই এনার্জিটা কি potential energy হবে না kinetic energy হবে, that will depend on the condition of the body. If the body is static, then it is potential energy. If the body is in motion, then it will be kinetic energy. তখন দেখবা EQ is equal to work done. So always work done is equal to energy. Now in what condition the body is, then তুমি ওটার উপর ডিপেন্ড করে লিখবা that work done is equal to kinetic energy or work done is equal to potential energy. Okay, বুঝছো আলিফ?
জি।
Okay, now work done, we have to calculate the work done. We know that work done is equal to force into displacement. Let us say we have applied F amount of force on this one, and the displacement that has been caused is h. Initial position, final position, the distance between them is h. So okay, now একটা বডিতে লিফট করার জন্য কতটুকু ওয়েট, কতটুকু ফোর্স তোমাকে দিতে হবে, that is equal to
The mass.
the weight. Force is equal to the weight, always remember. এই যে মার্কার, এটাকে যদি আমি উপরে লিফট করতে চাই, এটার ওয়েট যতটুকু ঠিক ততটুকু ফোর্স আমাকে উপরের দিকে দিতে হবে, সো দ্যাট আই ক্যান লিফট ইট। এখন মনে করো হেভিয়ার একটা অবজেক্ট নিলাম, সো আই হ্যাভ টু গিভ লার্জার ফোর্স। যার ওয়েট যত বেশি তাকে উপরে তুলতে তোমার তত বেশি ফোর্স দিতে হবে। ডু ইউ এগ্রি উইথ দিস?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
যখনই একটা বডিকে আমরা উপরে তুলবো, তখন ওই বডিটাকে উপরে তুলতে হলে কতটুকু ফোর্স দিতে হবে, ওর যতটুকু ওয়েট সেটার ইকুয়াল ফোর্স দিতে হবে। তাইলে এই এফটাকে চাইলে আমি ডাব্লিউ দিয়ে রিপ্লেস করতে পারি, ইফ ডাব্লিউ ইজ রিপ্রেজেন্টিং দ্য ওয়েট। ওকে, সো এখন ওয়েট কিভাবে ক্যালকুলেট করে, ডাব্লিউ ইজ ইকুয়াল টু এমজি। এটা তোমরা গ্রেড 8 এ সায়েন্সে পড়ে আসছো, আই নো দিস। ওকে, m is the mass and g is the acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so দেখো weight, it is a force. Okay, এটা হচ্ছে কোন ফোর্স, the force with which the earth attracts us, আমাদেরকে আর্থ অ্যাট্রাক্ট করে, তাই না? এটার জন্যই তো আমাদের অ্যাকচুয়ালি একটা ওয়েট আছে। তো এখন F is equal to what we know, ma, from Newton's second law, F equal to ma, we already studied this. Now whenever we are calculating weight, this acceleration is acceleration due to gravity, mg. So remember, when w is there, it will be mg, and with it h is multiplied. So this is the equation to calculate the potential energy. EP is equal to mgh. So if you are asked to calculate the potential energy of a certain body, you need to look for two information, m and h, because g is already known to us, that is 9.8. So look for the mass and look for the height from the ground. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now
Yes.
sometimes a question is asked in the exam that prove that potential energy is proportional to the height. Potential energy is proportional to the height. So let us see how we can prove that. Okay, let us say we lifted the body to a height of 10 meter. Correct? Then what will be the potential energy? 10 mg. Correct or not? If I replace the value of h as 10, then it will be 10 mg. Now if I lift the body to 20 meter, then what will be the potential energy? It will be 20
mg.
So can you see the relation? When the height became double, when the height became twice, the potential energy also became twice. Correct or not?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
The relation between them is proportional. In proportion, they will change. If one gets doubled, subhanallah, the other one will also get doubled. Okay, so this type of relation is called proportional. That is why if you are asked to prove that potential energy is proportional to the height from the ground, so that time after proving this, এইভাবে এটা prove করার পরে, then you can simply write EP is proportional to h, because মাঝখানের mg, this is constant. So equal sign থেকে যদি constant টাকে আমরা তুলে ফেলি, this sign will become proportional, and this is it. You can say proof. Okay, So this is the equation to calculate potential energy. Inshallah, in the next class, we will try to solve some numerical problems. Okay, I will show you how we calculate the potential energy and kinetic energy. Inshallah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as we have.
Can you move it, sir? I want to take screenshot.
Oh, okay. Screenshot maybe. They don't want to see the video. Anyway, no problem. Folder. Okay. Okay. Acha. So understood whatever we discussed. Anyone wants to ask any question?
So to find EP, we have to also put the value of mg.
M, mass, should be given in the question. G, it is already known, 9.8, and the height, it will also be given in the question, inshallah.
Okay.
So you will just replace the value and find the potential energy. Very easy, mashallah. Okay, no problem. বুঝলে ইজি আর কি, সেম জিনিসগুলাই অনেকেই বলে কি স্যার মাথা ঘুরায়। আমার স্টুডেন্ট আছে, ওই স্টুডেন্টটার নাম বলবো না, বিকজ ওই স্টুডেন্টটাকে চিনে এরকম একজন আছে এই ক্লাসে আরো। যাই হোক, তো ও বলে যে ফিজিক্স পড়তে গেলে মাথা ঘুরাই, তো তাইলে আর কি করা, বুঝতে মানে একটা
সামির মেবি
না না
সামিরই অবস্থা খারাপ হইলো। সামির
তুই আমি
দোষ
জানি
করলে সামির।
না সামির না। ওকে,
দোষ হইলে তুই, আর যদি ভালো কাজ করে তাহলে তুই না।
এই ক্লাসের কেউ না, অন্য ক্লাসের আর কি, ঠিক আছে। আচ্ছা, এখানে আমি যেটা বলতে যাচ্ছিলাম সেটা হচ্ছে সামটাইমস কোশ্চেন গুলো একটু ইন্টারেস্টিং ওয়েতে থাকবে, তো সেটার জন্য একটা বেসিক আমাদের ক্লিয়ার হওয়া লাগবে। সেই বেসিকটা কি? আমরা জানি একটা বডি যখন গ্রাউন্ডের উপরে থাকে, what is the height from the ground at this position?
0.
0.
The height from the ground at this position is 0. So at this position, what is the potential energy?
0.
0.
Good. Mg into 0 is 0. So at this position, the potential energy is 0. Very good. Okay. Now, if I lift it to a certain height, now h is equal to h. Let us say it has some value. So the potential energy will be mgh. Okay. So if I ask you between these two positions, where potential energy is maximum? Between these two points, at this position, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Ep maximum. And I am holding the body here, right? I'm not letting it fall now. What is the velocity of the body?
0.
Velocity of the body is 0. So what is the kinetic energy of the body here?
It will be
0.
0.
Because it's not moving.
Yeah.
Kinetic energy half m v square. So it is 0. So I can say that at this position, Ek, it is minimum, right?
Yes.
So for this position, these informations are very important to understand. At the maximum height, Ep is maximum and Ek is minimum. এটা আরেকভাবে আমরা বুঝতে পারি, মনে করো একটা বডিকে আমরা উপরের দিকে থ্রো করছি, এখন এটা যত উপরের দিকে যাবে এটার ভেলোসিটি বাড়বে না কমবে?
বাড়বে।
মারবে। আমরা থ্রো করছি না স্যার।
এই তোমরা দেখে লাফ দাও, গ্রাউন্ডের থেকে লাফ দাও, তোমরা ও যত উপরের দিকে যাবে ভেলোসিটি বাড়তে থাকবে, একদম স্পেসে চলে যাবে এক লাফে?
না, কমবে।
ডেফিনেটলি কমবে। তুমি একটা বলকে উপরের দিকে থ্রো করো, বলটা যত উপরের দিকে যাবে ভেলোসিটি কমতে থাকবে, বিকজ আর্থ এটাকে পিছনের দিকে টেনে ধরতেছে, রাইট? আর তো তো আর যখন এটা বেশি করতে যেতে পারবে না, যত উপরের দিকে যেতে থাকবে ভেলোসিটি কমতে থাকবে, কমতে 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 একটা সময় ভেলোসিটি জিরো, দ্যাট ইজ দ্য ম্যাক্সিমাম হাইট। মনে আছে আমরা মোশন চ্যাপ্টারে পড়ছিলাম, একটা বডিকে যখন আমরা উপরের দিকে থ্রো করব ভেলোসিটি কমতে কমতে একটা জায়গায় বলটা ভেলোসিটি জিরো হয়ে যাবে। সো দিস ইজ দ্য ম্যাক্সিমাম হাইট। আর ম্যাক্সিমাম হাইটে potential energy is maximum and kinetic energy is minimum. Very important to understand why kinetic energy is minimum, because the velocity becomes zero there, right? আচ্ছা, এবার সেকেন্ড পার্টের কথা বলি। আমরা যখন বলটাকে ছেড়ে দিব, the body will start to fall. তো বডিটা যখন নিচের দিকে আসবে, মনে করো এখন এই পজিশনে আসলো, এই পজিশনের যে হাইট, এটাকে মনে করো, ধরো এটা বি পজিশন, এটা এ পজিশন, এটা সি পজিশন। তো এইচ এ, এটা এইচ সি, আর এটা হচ্ছে এইচ বি। নাও এইচ বি এটা কি গ্রেটার দেন এইচ এ নাকি স্মলার দেন এইচ এ?
Smaller than HA.
Smaller than H.
Very good. So this is smaller than HA. So as the height is less at this position, the potential energy will be potential energy will be more or less than this position?
Less.
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 Tell you, as the height is decreasing, as it is falling towards the ground, the potential energy is decreasing, right?
Yes.
Yes, but kinetic energy will be maximum, right? Gradually.
হ্যাঁ, আমরা আগে potential energy টা বুঝিনি। Potential energy এখানে হচ্ছে maximum, as it is falling potential energy is decreasing, you agreed? So when the potential energy will be minimum, potential energy decreasing, 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 at this point potential energy will be minimum, because just before touching the ground, what will happen? The height will be zero. So as the height will become zero, at this position we can say that EP is minimum, right? So at this position what will happen? EK will be maximum, because as the body starts to fall down, the velocity starts to increase from zero. The velocity was zero here, kinetic energy was zero, that is minimum. But as the velocity starts to increase, velocity 1 meter per second, 2 meter per second, 3 meter per second, the velocity starts to increase. So as a result, what will happen? As it is falling, the more it falls, the more velocity increase. So just before touching the ground, the velocity will be maximum. So at C position, EK will be maximum, because the velocity will be maximum. Okay, these things are very important to understand actually. Okay, anyway, inshallah we will discuss further about the conservation law of momentum, and we will solve some numerical problems in the following class. Okay, so before we end today's
Yes.
class, anybody wants to ask any question?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Clear and easy to understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. If anybody faces any problem, then let me know, inshallah.